Hello, friends. Let's discuss the full process of photosynthesis. Photosynthesis is a complex process used by plants, algae, and certain bacteria to convert light energy, typically from the sun, into chemical energy stored in glucose. It occurs primarily in chloroplast, which contain pigments like chlorophyll. The process can be divided into two major stages: the light dependent reactions and the Calvin cycle light independent reactions. Number 1, light dependent reactions. Photochemical phase. These reactions take place in the thylakoid membranes of the chloroplast and require light energy. Some steps are involved. Photon absorption. Light energy from the sun is absorbed by pigments, primarily chlorophyll A, in the photosystem PSII complex. This excitation causes an electron in the chlorophyll to be energized and elevated to a higher energy state. Photolysis of water. The energized electron in PSII is passed down the electron transport chain etc, leaving a vacancy. Water H2O molecules are split by the enzyme water splitting complex, also known as the oxygen involving complex, releasing electrons which replace the lost electrons in PSII, protons H plus, oxygen O2 as a byproduct. Electron transport chain means etc. The energized electron from PSII moves down the electron transport chain through a series of protein complexes including plastocyanine PQ, cytochrome B6F, and plastocyanin PC. As electrons flow, protons H plus are pumped from the stroma into the thylakoid lumen, creating a proton gradient across the membranes. Formation of ATP, photophosphorylation. The proton gradient created in the thylakoid lumen is used to derive ATP, synthesize an enzyme that synthesizes ATP from ADP, an inorganic phosphate pi, as protons flow back into the stroma. Photosystem PSI. Meanwhile, the electron reaches photosystem PSI where light energy is absorbed, again exciting the electron to a higher state. The electron is then transferred to the final electron acceptor NADP plus, reducing it to NADPH with the addition of proton from the stroma. Products of light dependent reaction. ATP, energy currency. NADPH, reducing power. Oxygen, released as a byproduct into the atmosphere. Number 2, Calvin cycle, light independent reactions or dark reactions. These reactions occur in the stroma of the chloroplast and do not directly require light, but they use the products ATP and NADPH from the light dependent reactions. The Calvin cycle can be broken down into three key phases. Number 1, carbon fixation. The enzyme ribulose 1,5-bisphosphate carboxylase oxygenase rubisco catalyzes the attachment of a CO2 molecule to a 5 carbon sugar called ribulized 1,5-bisphosphate RUBP. This forms an unstable 6 carbon intermediate that immediately splits into two molecules of 3 phosphorylate create 3-PGA, a 3 carbon compound. Number 2, reduction phase. Each 3-PGA molecule is phosphorylated by ATP produced in the light dependent reactions to form 1,3-phosphorylate create 1,3-BPG. NADPH donates electrons, reducing 1,3-BPG to glyceride 3 phosphate G3P, another 3 carbon sugar. Number 3, regeneration of RUBP. For every 6 molecules of G3P produced, 1 molecule exits the cycle to be used in glucose synthesis, while the remaining 5 are used to regenerate IUBP. This generation process requires additional ADP. Net reaction of the Calvin cycle. For every 3 CO2 molecules fixed, 9 ATP molecules are consumed, 6 NADPH molecules are consumed, 1 molecule of G3P is produced. To synthesize 1 molecule of glucose C6H12O6, the cycle needs to occur twice as glucose is a 6 carbon compound, meaning a total of 6 CO2 molecules, 18 ATP, and 12 NADPH are required. Overall equation of photosynthesis is: the process of photosynthesis is commonly written as 6CO2 plus 6H2O converted 6C6H12O6 plus 6O2. This means that the reactant 6 carbon dioxide molecules and 6 water molecules are converted by light energy captured by chlorophyll into a sugar molecule and 6 oxygen molecules, the product. Summary of key points: light dependent reaction occur in the thylakoid membranes and generate ATP and ADPH and release O2. Calvin cycle occurs in the stroma and uses ATP and NADPH to fix CO2 into glucose or other carbohydrates. Rubisco is the key enzyme for carbon fixation. ATP and NADPH generated in the light dependent reactions are used to power the Calvin cycle. Oxygen is a byproduct and glucose is the primary product that plants use for energy and growth. Importance of photosynthesis: energy source. Number 1, photosynthesis provides energy for nearly all life forms on earth. Carbon fixation. Number 2, it is the primary mechanism by which atmospheric CO2 is converted into organic matter, playing a critical role in the global carbon cycle. Oxygen production. Number 3, the oxygen released during photosynthesis is crucial for the respiration of most organisms. Next, the question is that how water plants grow in water without photosynthesis. Most aquatic plants still rely on photosynthesis to grow even in water. However, in cases where light is extremely limited or absent, such as in very deep water, plants and certain other organisms can survive and grow through alternative mechanisms. Here are some ways water plants and other life forms manage to grow without typical photosynthesis. Number 1, chemoautotherapy means chemosynthesis. Chemosynthesis is a process where certain bacteria and microorganisms synthesize organic molecules by using chemical energy from reactions involving inorganic compounds like hydrogen sulfide H2S, methane CH4, or other chemicals rather than light. In deep sea ecosystems, especially around hydrothermal vents, chemosynthetic bacteria from the base of the food chain, these bacteria use the energy released from chemical reactions to fix carbon dioxide into organic matter. These bacteria live symbiotically with some organisms like deep sea tube worms or clams, providing them with nutrients without relying on sunlight. Number two, absorption of organic matter. Some aquatic organisms, particularly in low light or no light environments, absorb dissolved organic matter directly from their surroundings. This allows them to obtain necessary nutrients without relying on photosynthesis. Some plants in aquatic environments may take up nutrients like nitrogen and phosphorus from decaying plant and animal matter suspended in the water column. Parasitism or symbiotic relationships. Certain plants and organisms form symbiotic relationships without other life form that can produce energy via alternative processes like chemosynthesis or photosynthesis. For example, some deep water sponges or coral live in symbiosis with bacteria that can produce food through chemosynthesis. The bacteria live without the organism and provide it with nutrients, allowing it to thrive in environments where light is scarce. Carnivory. Some aquatic plants like the bladderwort or carnivorous. They can trap and digest small aquatic animals like insects or plankton, extracting nutrients directly from them instead of relying solely on photosynthesis. This allows them to survive in nutrients poor water or in low light conditions. Minimal energy requirements and slow growth. In extremely deep or dark environment, many organisms grow very slowly